And I want to share something that was very big for me, and maybe someone out there is the same as me. As a woman who took in a lot of stories and conditioning about emotions being bad and weak and embarrassing, and I had to be perfect, and I had to be tough, and I had to be really smart, and I could not be vulnerable because that meant that, like, people are going to see me sweat. And, I couldn't have that. That's what I grew up believing, that I had to be this like woman of steel and never ask for help and never shed a tear and never let people into my actual experience. So what did this manifest as? When I was in high school, for example, and now this carried through my entire life, but it was very prevalent in high school, and it's kind of where it started. I would put on a mask that everything was okay. Like, I was bullied by these girls in high school. There's one particular girl who was really bad, and she used to say things to me, like insulting how white I was. Kind of weird, but she'd like call me like a glow stick. Like, it's kind of funny. I'm really white, so like, okay. Now I look at it and I laugh, but she'd be like, "You're so white, I could shake you up and crack you like a glow stick, and you could light up the holes." And I'm like, "What the hell?" And this woman, this is a crazy story, but she used to. This is why I never wear my hair up. She used to threaten cutting my hair off in the hallway. I would have my hair in a ponytail, and she'd say, "One day I'm going to walk up behind you and cut off your ponytail." And that stuck with me so profoundly. That is why I do not wear my hair up. That's why you never see me look any different. It's like, I don't want the mysterious girl from my high school to cut off my ponytail.
I love your hair up.
Oh, I know.
Please.
Well, you safe people can see it. But this one woman, I almost said her name. She knows who she is. She traumatized me. Truly, she was a terror. And it was from like the very first day of AP Bio. Shout out Dr. Torres. She never did anything to stand up for me, but shout out to her as a teacher anyway. So it was bad. It was bad, and it was constant. It was every day. And what did I do? I would pretend she didn't exist. Like, seriously, I'd be sitting there and she'd be bullying me, making fun of me, saying things, and I wouldn't even look her in the eye. I wouldn't respond. It was as if she didn't exist. That's how I coped with the situation. I didn't know how to be direct. I didn't know how to stand up for myself. I was just there and thinking, if I ignore her, she'll go away. Absolutely wrong. Okay. I ignored her. It got worse and worse and worse. And she got even more frustrated, and it got even more hairy and sticky. But that's what I used to do. So what would happen? I'd be the receptacle for all this abuse and bullying and insults. And I would have no reaction. Stone cold. And I'd go home and I'd cry. In my room, with the door closed, where no one could see it. And that right there is where the pattern of me having a two-face of hard exterior, no one can see me sweat, no one can see me cry. I'm not even going to let the bullies know they're getting to me. But then I'm going to go home and cry about it. And not even my family knew I was doing that. Because I would be like, "Hey, everyone, good to see you. I got some homework to do." Go to my room, lock the door, and cry. And so what did that do? It disconnected me from my emotions, and it made me label my emotions as bad, as weak, as inappropriate, as not something I could do in front of people. That pattern carried with me for so long. I just recently broke that pattern in my late 20s. Like, it stuck with me for so long. By the way, this pattern I picked up also really hurt me in dating. Because what do men like about women? Their feelings. They like their emotions. They like the good, the bad, the ugly. They like vulnerability. They like actually getting to know somebody. And if you're only going to show someone a certain side of you, they're going to think you're faking it. They're going to think you're wearing a mask, because you are. And that's okay. I say that with no judgment. But that's the reality of the situation. You can't be fully authentic, aka magnetic, to the energy you actually want if you're suppressing the part of you that feels. Really deeply, truly feels. That's the full spectrum of emotion, not just the positive emotions. So I'm sharing this because I feel like a lot of women are in this place where they have these big feelings that are so beautiful Every feeling, from sadness to anger to joy to grief, anguish, all of them need to be felt. They're a beautiful expression of the human experience. And if we cut ourselves off from feeling them and allowing the tears to roll, allowing ourselves to express, we keep ourselves stuck because the emotions are stuck in our bodies. They're stuck and they're stored and they're repressed. And so what have I been working towards the last couple of years? And I think I've made massive strides on this the last year. When I have the feeling, I call it an emotional wave. When I have a wave of emotions, I don't need to understand them. I don't need to logically put a story on my emotions. I just need to be with them. So there will be some days, and Cam has seen this because I follow it. Like I dutifully have tried to reprogram my relationship to my own emotions to be more neutral, to see it as beautiful, to see every part of me, every piece of the emotional mirror makes up the mirror. You can't be missing 5 pieces of the puzzle and call it complete. No, the whole human experience is so beautiful and needs to be felt and is waiting to be expressed. So when I wake up some days and I'm feeling melancholy and I'm feeling sad and I feel tears welling up in my eyes, even though I don't know why or it doesn't make logical sense, I cry. It's really that simple. And I know it's like when you're in the place I was years ago with such a disembodiment and such an emotional suppression, you hear that and you're like, oh, well, duh. But it's like, no, but seriously, no matter where you are, even when it's inconvenient, even when you're walking with someone you don't know that well and you start crying, even when you're talking to someone you're dating or you're in a relationship with and you feel a little embarrassed, you got to cry. I'm not saying cry alone in your bathtub. I'm saying cry wherever you are when you feel like crying. That's the unlock. So I just wanted to add color to this because I know there are so many women who are in this state of disembodiment and it's not even conscious. It wasn't conscious for me until I really looked at it and I was like, why am I like this? Why do I have a hard time being seen in certain states? Why do I have a hard time being seen crying, not at my best, not happy, with no makeup on, not looking good in my eyes? Why do I have such a hard time with this? And I discovered where it came from, which was helpful, but not necessary. And then I decided, okay, I get it. I see it. I'm going to cry now. I'm going to cry anytime it comes up. And I feel sitting here today as someone who does that now and who allows my emotions to roll whenever they come. Oh my gosh, everything has gotten so much easier. I feel so much more fluid throughout the day, and my baseline mood is so much higher than it ever was when I was repressing because I don't have these ankle weights, these anchors on my emotional state being held down by all the things I'm not allowing myself to feel.